Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer, and in this exciting video, we are going to talk about Jetpack Compose. We'll build simple apps to see how great this new Android's toolkit is. If we talk about Jetpack Compose, then Jetpack Compose is Android's modern toolkit for building native UI. It simplifies and accelerates UI development for Android, and it actually quickly brings your app up to life with less code. And in simple terms, you can get rid of all those XML files, and now your UI stays in your Kotlin files. It uses Kotlin by default, so you have no option to go back to Java, but it's actually a better framework because you can actually use entire material UI in this with all the theming. It's reactive library, so you have state management and a lot more. So you are going to see how you can use Jetpack Compose to code simple apps, and let me know if you really want more tutorials on Jetpack Compose about how to build applications using this. So as to get started, you first need Android Studio's preview release, which is a beta. That's Android Arctic Fox. So remember, Jetpack Compose is still in beta. The IDE that you're using for programming is still in beta. So expect the unexpected. So anyway, you can simply download this from here. And once you have downloaded this, you can unzip the file, go to bin, and there you will have a Studio 64, run that file and install out the SDKs if you don't have them. And then you will see something like this. There, click on new project, select empty compose activity, give your compose activity a name, select your saving location, and then click on finish to create a project. And as you can see, we now have this very basic application up and running. You only have a single file, main activity.kt, where everything relies. As you can see, there is no layout files here. There is no resources file where your layout exists. There are no XML for this particular main activity. Anyway, let's run this application and let's see what do we get by default. Now, if you try to do this today, I'm pretty sure that you would get some issues. So first of all, just go to your build or Gradle file and replace this beta 07 with beta 09, and then replace your Kotlin Gradle plugin version from 1.4.32 to 1.5.10. Click on sync changes and then run your app again. It should work. And as you can see, this is the application that we get by default, a hello Android text on top left corner. By the way, I'm sorry if this is not left. I always get confused in left and right. If we take a sneak peek at the code, as you can see, we have our main activity just as always, but now this is a component activity. We have our onCreate method, and there we simply have a set content, and the set content is going to set content. Here, as you can see, we have our YouTube tutorial theme. This is the material theme which has been set, and there we have a surface. It's kind of a container, just like a box which stores a container in Jetpack Compose, and there we have this composable function which kind of again renders something on our screen, which is rendering a simple text which is hello Android. If I simply change this to Prince, then now this will be hello Prince. And this is something that I want to show you. As you can see, this is kind of a simple preview of hot reload here. So as I change my name from Prince to Prince Programmer, you can see that this will be changed here. It's not exactly hot reload as we see in Flutter, but it's kind of something, and I think Google is working to introduce something like that even in Android Studio too, especially in Jetpack Compose. Anyway, let's remove this and let's build something on our own. So I will remove everything from the set content, and this is the bare basic code that you have. Now to render something in set content, I'm simply going to use text, which will be welcome to Desi Programmer. So as you can see, a simple set content which simply sets a text here, which is welcome to Desi Programmer. Let's start building a couple of applications. We are going to put this text in the center of the screen. And to do that, we have to simply grab this text. We have to wrap it with a box which kind of acts like a container here. So this is our box which has a modifier, and the modifier is going to be modifier.fill max size, and the content alignment is going to be content alignment.center to set the content on the center. And then here we can put our text. And on restart, you can see that this is our text right in the center. Jetpack Compose gives us straightforward options to build UIs. For example, in our text, you can simply put a text style and give it font size, font weight, and color. When you restart, everything will be applied here. And this kind of looks like a good way to build UIs. Anyway, let's move forward and build a simple counter application. So for that, I will have a composable function here. We'll name this function counter app. And then we are simply going to grab all this box thing from here, and we're going to paste it here. And let's call our counter app from here. And in our box after our text, let's have a button, and we're not having an on click, but in this button, our simple content is again a text, and I'm simply saying click to add to. Let's save this, and now you will have a text and a button on the screen. But here is the problem. Since it's a simple box, the content is on top of each other, something that we don't want. And to build UIs, layouts, we simply have columns and rows, just as we have in Flutter, so Flutter developers can completely relate to it. So in our box, we have this text and button. I'm simply going to grab both of them, and this are going to be in a simple column. And I'll simply paste it. Let's restart this again. You can see one after another. You again have same things in the column too. So for example, you have things like alignment and arrangement to arrange items in our column. So if I set the horizontal alignment to alignment dot center horizontally, then save this, and then this is going to be center horizontally. Let's leave that and let's move forward on managing simple state. And to do that, we can simply use a variable in our composable function itself to manage state. So we have a variable, let's name this count. It's going to be by remember, and it's a mutable state of value which is 0. And if this shows you any errors as such, simply go here in your imports, and here in from runtime put a star here, and it will import everything that's necessary. And as you can see, the error is now gone. We can now replace this count everywhere. So here we are going to put a dollar and our count. In our button, just as we have to do, we have a simple code here which is going to be count plus is equal to 2. And now if you save this, let's restart and let's see what do we get. And there you go. This is our basic application. Keep on clicking this button, and this is going to add 2 to the value, hence increasing the value by a factor of 2 every time. But these are just the simple things that I'm showing you. Let's talk about something where you will actually understand how easy Jetpack Compose is going to make building native UIs in Android, and how tough it was using our XML files, recycler view, adapters and such. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first remove this. I don't want this variable. Now let's say I want to populate a list of 50 items on a screen. And to do that in native UI, we know the headache. But what I'm going to do here is for simpler. I'm going to remove this text and this button. And if you want to populate, let's say, a list of 50 items, you can simply use a for loop here. And I'm saying for an I in 1 to 50. And then just put whatever you want here and you'll be good to go. For example, I want some text which should be, let's say, $I. And let's give it a little bit styling so that it looks like a block. So once you restart this, you can see that you now have a list of items, but hey, you can't scroll it, obviously, because our column is not scrollable. To do that, again, you can simply go to your column and you can say that you have a modifier, and the modifier is modifier dot vertical scroll. And there you need to say how you can remember the scroll position. So we have something like a value which is scroll state, and this is going to be remember scroll state. Now you can simply put that scroll state here, save it and refresh. And there, now you have a scrollable list of items, 20 items that we have. But hey, let's say that you don't even want this, because nowadays it's an age of infinite scrollable timelines, and you obviously don't want to render the entire content at once. Well, Jetpack Compose give you another option where you can render content on scroll. Let me show you how that works. So if I replace this with 50, and here we have a simple log. I'm simply going to log something which is log.I, and there I have a key, let's say my. If we save this and restart, you will see that for my 50 items, even if I haven't scrolled, we have rendered all the 50 list items. So even when I scroll, this everything has been rendered automatically. Now to render on scroll, all that you have to do is to first remove this modifier, which is our your scroll, then convert this column to lazy column. And now instead of using a for here, we are going to use something known as items, because we have multiple items. These items will ask for a count. Let's say I have 50 items with me, and here, there you go. If I simply save this now, I mean, obviously we're not going to have I, it's going to be it. If we save this now let's restart and let's see what we get. And there you go. Pay attention to this logcat. Right now we only have 9 items which have been rendered. And when I keep scrolling, it's going to render items automatically. So I keep scrolling, I keep scrolling, I keep scrolling, and it keeps rendering items. And this is the beauty of Jetpack Compose, which I think is simply going to replace building native UI using XML and all. So well, that's pretty much it from my side in this tutorial. Let me know if you want to learn more about Jetpack Compose, if we should do a series on Jetpack Compose. So keep coding, keep loving, keep shading, and peace.